Okay, it's primary election day, April 26, 2016, and we're having a board meeting. It's about 11:13 a.m. at the Board of Elections. And we have no minutes. We have an abbreviated agenda, which I'll turn over to Margaret first.
Yes, we can do a couple different things here. We have to select 25 precincts that are going to be part of your audit as part of the canvas. If you want me to, we can start it now, and each of you can draw 5, or I can wait till the other 2 show up so that they get a couple of draws. So what do you want me to do?
I'd say start it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just pass it around?
That's my vote.
It's just a random grabbing of.
Yeah, and don't announce.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah,
Don't look at it.
That's right, they come
Doing
together,
that, can I
right?
ask a question?
4.
Did
Five.
anybody get
Four.
this in
Five.
the mail but me?
5.
I didn't get that.
5.
Did any,
don't even.
No
I
attribution
can't.
on
I
it at
can't
all.
see.
who's it from, a candidate?
No.
What are these
It
folded?
says vote in Maryland matters more, your vote in Maryland matters more than ever.
There.
Vote,
I don't-
and it's
I'm gonna go get an
Harrisburg,
envelope and put 'em in.
Pennsylvania box, but no attribution on it at all.
Look at it.
I didn't get that.
It's a nice piece and an expensive piece. But I just couldn't imagine.
I can't see from here with these. I'm blind as a bat.
Isn't that odd?
What difference does it make, even if we look?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what it is anyway.
Fuss about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anyway, would you?
Yeah, no.
Called the civic duty.
No, and I've been
Yeah.
doing this for years.
Yeah.
It's just
Wouldn't you
5?
think it would be
That's what more is lending. I know that.
I've never gotten a letter like that in the mail before.
That's
Go ask
like,
Kevin.
that's
But,
fixation.
and then what does it
It's
mean?
5?
Just,
Yep, there's the 5. Don't look at it.
I'm not looking.
If I could put rum in
Draw
this,
5,
It was a mail's mailing.
please.
it would be rum with
I
Coke.
didn't get it.
And without looking, you can
I
just toss
started
them in
at
this
Wooten.
envelope.
They had the most fabulous food you have ever seen. And it was all free because it had been donated. Somebody paid for them to run a bake sale. They were collecting donations, and of
Yeah.
course I donated, but they were offering it free to anybody.
Nice.
Okay, I thought it was from us.
No.
I remember
That-
Starbucks
that would
coffee.
be very
that the Girl
expensive.
Scouts were selling.
That would be a very expensive piece that I.
Well, that's what I thought. I was getting ready to chat with you
Yeah, I
about
didn't get
it.
that. No.
And it's interesting that none of you all got it.
Yeah, there's no authority line.
That came to you?
It was mailed.
Okay.
Phillips or the current resident. So it was a mail's mailing.
Okay, so we did that.
Um,
They remain.
Election activities, Alex was probably the person that had the most excitement. The Silver Spring Library, we had an issue with the elevators slash escalators slash door, and
Wow.
I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Well, that was my first stop, so it was truly a baptism of fire. I get there and there's a line out the door in the street. It's right at 7 o'clock, so I go in and
Silver Spring Library.
Silver Spring Library. So it's on the 3rd floor. You have to take the elevator up. So I get in the elevator, push the button, nothing happens. Take out my county ID, wave it, see if that'll do it. Doesn't work. So they've locked the elevators off. So people are waiting outside, and they don't get the elevators up until 7:15. So the poll did not open on time. So there were some people kind of steamed up about that. Then I get up there, the scanner breaks out of the gate. And they have only one scanner. So,
Wow.
so they are starting to, and I said, just move people through the line, and they collected the ballots into the upper drawer on the scanner unit. But it only
Yeah.
take about
Yeah.
that many, and it's not connected to the bottom
Oh,
tray.
it's not. Oh.
The bottom tray gets fed from the scanner itself. So,
Oh, jeez.
talked to Margaret several times, and I think they ran out a new unit. But this is a cautionary tale about, having one scanner per precinct.
Well, and also
Yes.
about elevators.
Well, I had quite a few who had 2 scanners,
Yeah, if you have, there's,
but they were small precincts.
Well, like Somerset Elementary has 2, but one of theirs went down. They had the second one.
Most places.
Yeah, I had one that they had to get another one brought in. It was Ritchie Park.
Richard Park, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the most exciting thing. Last night at 6-1, I think that was Jones Lane, they had a USB cable that connected the printer to the electronic poll book that had been crushed, like it had been in a pair of pliers. So hopefully they got a new one out there because they wouldn't have been able to use the printer.
They did. That went out at 6 o'clock. Actually, we had runners here at 5:30 starting it out. So-
But I think most people were setting up last night well after 8 o'clock. Some got done early. The guy at 9:35, which is Gaithersburg Elementary, seemed very nervous. One of his chief judges dropped out at the last minute. And he was talking about, well, we'll try to get out by 10 o'clock tonight. I thought, wow, I'm not going to wait around for that.
It took much longer last night than previous ones. I didn't get home till after 10
I
o'clock.
found the total opposite.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, mine
Every
were
place I
early.
went was set up, one place was already set up and closed.
Really?
Yep,
Yeah,
by 8 o'clock.
me
And
too.
county guys were dynamite,
Yes.
right on target. Chatted with them several places, and
Except
they
for
read and set up
Asbury.
all the tables and knew what they were doing, in and out, gave real confidence to the judges last night. There were a couple of little problems, but nothing, I thought last night went smashing.
Oh, I thought it went well. It just, and I wasn't surprised that it was slower because a lot of places were doing it for the first time. If there hadn't been somebody there that did early voting and was more familiar with it, it was taking longer. But it was, moving right along.
But I think the difference was that you had the whole team there. There were some schools that, like the one at Gaithersburg Elementary, who were missing an important part of the puzzle, which is like another chief judge that can actually
Missing like what?
people.
Personnel.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because like the Damascus Elementary, Allison texted me, was like, "Are you serious? They're almost done." Like it was 6:25.
Well, I've
Wow.
written
She was
down
like,
there
"Are
2
you
or 3
kidding
places.
me?"
There were too many people, that they didn't have enough for everybody to do.
Well, Damascus Elementary had, I told Allison, about 40-some people.
No.
Yeah, because they were all, all the young people who are going to be volunteering
Oh,
were
yeah.
all there.
I saw that in
Oh,
a
the
couple
Right,
places.
the students.
Yeah.
Right, and they were actually setting up the tables, and the signage was done, and
Yeah.
it was, and this
And they all were
judge.
standing around looking bored.
No, actually, no, they all were working, but they were like, this judge had everybody assign something, and I'm telling you, by 6:25, that precinct was pretty much done, and
That's
I moved
great.
on. I was like, I'm impressed.
I was very impressed with the chief judges. They were all sharp as tacks, the ones I had.
You were an only, right?
All experienced, knew what they were doing, confident, really sharp.
I had a lot of precincts, well, lots, 2 or 3 last night that only had one chief judge.
You were in.
I did too.
I
You
did
were
too.
in Bethesda, Chevy Chase.
Yeah, I was near where I live. Well, actually, it's parts of Rockville. Tilden Middle, Lux Manor, Farmland.
I had one chief judge that hadn't shown up today when I got there. I can't remember where it was, maybe the Promenade. I think that's what it was.
Oh, the
That's a
Promenade.
horrible, awful. Is the Promenade a self-contained, I'm sorry, I don't like to start with something unpleasant. I'll get there. Is the Promenade a self-contained precinct, or do people come in?
No, nobody comes in.
Nobody comes
We-
in?
Yeah, we
That would
have,
be nicer.
we have talked about consolidating that precinct with another location.
But having to go down 2 flights of steps and back up.
Well, there's an elevator.
At the end of the hall, way at the end of the hall. But very nice people, very few voters, but
I
Very.
agree.
We visited that. Why did we visit that?
Because that was one of those inside, they wanted to 25 feet from the
signs.
Where is
entrance
the
of
promenade?
All
That's
Hopkins
right.
Hill
the
Road.
It
promenade.
is Pook's Hill. Yes, that
It's
is all
Pook's Hill.
self-contained.
And that
Yeah.
is but the signage was very bad. And when I walked in the door, there was no sign to get you. If the little man at this way station that let me in, with the arm, hadn't given me written directions, I wouldn't have found it. And because you go in, there's no sign to the elevator. There was no sign to the steps. Now, when you got to the steps, there was a sign that said down, but you had to go in and look around.
Now, the only people that vote in that precinct are the people that live in that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes a
So,
difference.
but We
There-
talked about closing it, and there's been resistance, so.
Well, if that's all the voters are, then
Well, and it's, a lot of them are senior, the residents there are.
I mean, the board is, during redistricting, we looked at a lot of those small precincts.
Yeah.
to Determine if they wanted to consolidate.
Would it be possible for David to participate by phone? Do we have a speakerphone?
Yeah, sorry.
Margaret, how many scanners do we have left, the rest of it today, in case there are problems? Do we have in reserve?
Not, none, almost none, maybe two.
You want to call one of
That's
those
all.
numbers?
there was a concern about the, and I agree with the carts on some of the flooring, the gym flooring kind of thing. There was a concern about the weight of the carts. The county men brought it up, and then the chief judges, and they were looking to see what it did to the floors as it just, that's what we're supposed to do, right? Just bring back a bunch of shit.
The weight, yeah, I know they're over 800 pounds.
Well, that's a concern. And there was a problem with time. We had people showing up at 6 o'clock, some said 7 o'clock, and some said 7:30, that they'd gotten notices. And then, just to
Hey, David,
drive
it's
it.
Kevin. We've got you on speakerphone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, let me turn it off.
So, Margaret, what would we do if we don't have enough reserve and then there is a precinct whose scanner does go down and can't be replaced? We would collect the paper ballots, and then what?
And then we would have to scan them on the 850, the high-speed scanner.
Which would be up here. So they'd have to be, I guess, placed in one of those blue bins at some point
Yeah,
throughout the day.
we would have to consult with the State Board of Elections. We still have some units, I don't know how many exactly. There's, but, this is, when the Silver Spring Library unit went down, the state has a spreadsheet that we're supposed to report this type of information to. Besides putting in the Silver Spring Library unit went down, they're having to use the emergency bypass. This is another reason not to have just one
Yeah.
unit at every polling place.
Do we have any security, Montgomery County Police, off-duty police, something on tap, that if that happens, we could send them into that precinct to give people a feeling of confidence when they hand somebody their ballot and it goes into a blue plastic bin?
The policy of the board has been in the past, and you certainly can revisit it, is to not have a uniformed officer in the polling place. We do provide the police and fire and Homeland Security and Maryland State Police a list of all of our polling places, plus they get a picture of each location, and we do that. We've done that for
I was
every
thinking
election.
just if the scanner went down, only if people were handling other people's ballots. Is what I was thinking, is getting.
Well,
some-
actually, what happened here is no one handled it. What we were directing them to do was to have the voter stick
Put
it
it
in the
in.
bypass tray.
In the emergency
personally.
bin.
And that's
But I
really
was
what
thinking when
should
they were
be
just
done.
talking about if the scanner dies, the tray's full, they're going to use the blue bins. If that happened, I had one place that the election judge standing at the scanner was taking the ballot and putting it in.
Did you correct them?
Yes.
Because they're
Okay.
not supposed to handle it, I guess.
Yeah,
is that
you're,
right?
everybody's supposed to vote.
Most of the time, you would not handle the ballot. Now, if there's something that would cause the individual some sort of disability, then they can handle it, but it has to be with the consent of the voter.
Like I had a lady who had Parkinson's, and she could not, and
Okay, sure.
and then she asked the judge to help her put it in.
In 1010, which was the River Falls Swim Club, which is kind of an odd voting place to begin with, she couldn't find the integrity report, called here, and there was an answering machine came on, and there was no network for our phone.
There was a problem with the phones last night. I ultimately called the director of telecommunications and the Department of Technology Services director. They made some immediate adjustments to the phone. I you guys tried to work, Allison can address it from here. When Allison when I called, Allison and I were talking quite a bit, going back and forth. When I think Allison hit her highest frustration point, that's when I stepped in and called the director of Department of Technology Services and said, get somebody here that knows what they're doing.
Well, the phone,
The
You
phones
could not-
were going to voicemail.
right, they're going to voicemail,
Exactly.
and I was leaving the
And-
information on it, but then there was a
Yes.
point where the whole thing then went down, that you could not even leave a voicemail, it just, that's,
Just went
that's,
fast busy.
yeah, it just, yeah, and it said, not available, or
I
whatever.
kept saying soothingly, oh, she'll call you right back. Oh, Margaret or Allison or Margie going to call you right back.
No, Margie was just as
I
frustrated
didn't have
trying to
any
get
idea
through
who
with
it
the
was going to be.
problem,
I
and I
just wanted to
couldn't
get out
reach
of it. That
anybody.
was
So,
just so
well-
scary. That felt so sorry for her. But I said, is there anything else you can do while you're waiting for them to call? She took the integrity report out of her judge's book. She said, I'll just fill this one in. She was terrific. She was, after we sorted out in the beginning, I was impressed with your chief judges
Yes,
too.
I was.
And I was impressed that you had so many men. It seems to me in the past there have been lots and lots of women chief judges. And I did notice there were
But
lots of
I
men.
had a few who said they were just made chief judges yesterday.
I'm sure they will.
They were like, I was promoted.
Field promotion.
Field promotion.
Yeah.
We
happens a
considered
lot.
roamers.
So,
No, you're board members.
Well, I didn't know if there was another title, because in 10:3, this poor lady said, a roamer's never been at 7:45. We haven't had any roamer here. And I said, oh, well, just consider me the roamer. You're doing everything beautifully, and this looks wonderful. But she was evidently thinking that she was supposed to be meeting somebody, and that person hadn't arrived yet.
This was last night or today?
That was Seven Locks Elementary School. That must have been last night.
Okay, there is a roamer. There's 37 roamer routes, and they're assigned actually those are the roamer routes, and you are probably visiting the same locations as a roamer. Sometimes a roamer will have two, if we can't recruit enough, 2 routes, and they are normally previously chief judges who have been kind of escalated to this roamer, or maybe they're county employees that have a technology services background, so that they're trained on how to aid the election judges.
I did talk to the lady from the National Japanese Network. That might not be quite the right word. And she was very sweet and very nice. She had interviewed some people inside before. And I talked about the kids, how wonderful they were, and they were all over the place, and how many we had, and how they were all so interested in that,
She
just
did
standing
send-
in the driveway.
She did send me an email and said they had a very positive experience, and so I thank you for helping out with that.
Going back to the phones, though, I did this morning, after things kind of settled down, I did send an email to Mr. Siegel and Mr. Stuckey, asking them to give an explanation as to what happened with our phone system. So, and I told them it would be nice if we could have it by Thursday.
Hey, David? David, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I just want to,
Hear me?
we went around the table before you got on the call. So tell us, there's an issue that Kevin raised with us. We just want to see if you have a status on that. You know, the filled in ballot.
Yes, that's why I'm late, is because I was at Pierce Mill Elementary, and in addition to that issue, they also had their electioneering zone was not right either, so I had to deal with that as well. So apparently what happened was they gave the wrong ballot to a voter who, after starting to fill it out, realized that it was the wrong ballot, gave it back to the judge. The judge put it down on the table for a few seconds, and apparently someone picked it up, not the same judge. Instead of walking directly to the spoiled ballot envelope and sticking it right into the spoiled ballot envelope. So that's how a completed ballot was handed to a voter. It happened one time, I asked them to check every ballot that they hand to a voter to make sure that it's blank. And that if someone spoils a ballot, that they can't, they literally should not put it down until they put it in the envelope.
Well, they should write boy on it right away or spoil on it right away with a marker.
Yes. But they, unfortunately, they did not do that. So, anyway, that's what was happening with that particular issue in 1325. I think that they have it figured out now so that it won't happen again. It happened during the morning rush.
You said it was a second issue, Dave?
Well, there were a number of issues in different places this morning. Are you just interested in that particular poll or in all of them?
Well, anything significant or, that just wasn't a minor glitch?
Okay. Well, I would say that in half of the precincts that I went to last night, they did not have the requisite number of chief judges, and in just about every precinct I went to, they were down more people than they expected. So there were a lot of people who were being deputized either last night or this morning. And I'm not exactly sure how it works when you deputize someone in the morning, because I gather that there has to be a signature by both the Democratic and Republican judges at 7 a.m. this morning. So anyway, so that was one issue. There were a number of electioneering zone issues. At one location this morning, there was a judge who believed that no candidate was allowed to have more than one sign-up, and took it upon himself before anybody arrived this morning to take down the other signs. He also established an electioneering zone that was about 3 times as large as the one on the picture. The roamer there did an outstanding job, and I want to mention his name, which is Al Cooper. And he basically explained to the judge that he was using outdated information and got him to apologize to the electioneers, who it turned out included a top aide to Sheila Hickson and a former top aide to the Montgomery County Council. So it was good that they were apologized to. And then the rover put the signs back up that were up when we got there. So that, to undo what had been done incorrectly. But I would say that I was at 3 or 4 different places this morning where the electioneering signs were in the wrong location. The one that concerned me the most was that at one of the polling places, the allegation was that the judge moved the electioneering zone because of being asked to do so by a representative of a candidate. A candidate who does not have as many people at the polling places was trying to make the electioneering zone larger for the candidate who had people at the polling places to have less, ability to electioneer. A number of places, the maps that people have are showing the electioneering zone for entrances that are not the entrances being used for voting. There are other entrances at the schools, but it's not the entrance that's closest to where the voting is taking place. So it would probably make sense to get updated maps for the general, so that they can address that, because they're not really able to use the if the map is for the front door and people are using the back door to get into the school, it doesn't really help them.
Yes, I encountered that at Walter Johnson last night. They showed the entrance being in the middle of the school, like almost, not exactly the main entrance, but it's what had been the entrance years and years ago. And now the entrance is down, it's the cafeteria, the new cafeteria. But it had been that entrance in certainly the last election. But as a result, it shows the electioneering boundary somewhere else, way off the beaten path. So I walked around with the chief judge last night, and we established the electioneering zones.
And it was fine. I was there this morning and accosted by many people.
Good.
Can I ask a question? I'm just curious as to how much and how the no electioneering zone is covered in the training, because there clearly are some judges who are not familiar with the rules.
It's covered. We explained to the judges that in Maryland it's 25 to 100 feet, and that it is on their facility report, and that unless the facility report places the electioneers in a dangerous, like in the street, they are to follow the map that we provide.
Okay, but what do we do if the map is for the wrong entrance?
Well, I guess,
and they have to,
David.
make decisions about a different entrance than what the map covers.
Well, David, the entrance is generally the main entrance to the facility, because that's the ADA entrance.
So the 25 feet is measured from the outer door, right?
Correct.
So if there is a different entrance that's being utilized, then our instructions to the chief judges is that they need to, on the facility map, mark on the map where the entrances are, so that we can make adjustments between today and October of next year, of this fall.
Okay. Yeah,
And they are told.
But for example, one of the schools I went to today was Sligo Middle School, and the parking lot is right next to the cafeteria, which is where the voting takes place. The front entrance to the building, there is no parking near that. There's just the bus lane. So almost nobody is going to be using that entrance, which is where the no electioneering map was showing. So I do think it's going to make sense to have a map that moves that. And if we can let the judges know that if they change their entrance, but they need to let us know for the fall, that would be great.
And they should, the other piece that you should share with them is that they should return that marked up map in the red folder that comes back tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that I'm going back to that location
Well,
in order to share with them. But
any other location you stop at, okay? You should share that information with them. And we will call, we have a 4 o'clock ballot tabulation call, and we can remind them that if they have problems with their map, they can mark it up and include it in the packet as it comes back tonight.
Yeah, I think you should also suggest that if somebody from headquarters, meaning one of us, came by and changed it, that they should mark the new locations, because they may not feel like they have a problem, but we may have felt they had a problem.
Okay.
Morgan, 0703, the judge need timesheet for judges, the piece of papers. He did call last night, they didn't provide that.
What do they need? I'm sorry.
A timesheet for the judges.
For the judges.
And 0707, BBC and ABC were there. They did not have enough sign, like vote here, the one with on the stand.
Right.
And they didn't have enough tape. Anyhow, me and the greeter, we made a whole bunch of sign and put it everywhere, because the entrance of the high school is different what the entrance for voting is. So we had to make and use some chair and other one to put the sign that people can go there. And was one judge short, and the students didn't show up until late. but overall it was okay. They were busy a little bit, but it was just, and that, but everything, I mean, the places I visited, there was no problem. They were very professional and they did that. No problem.
I'd like to find out about how I asked every judge how many people were there when they, in line. And it was 719 had 36 people in line.
Wow.
And while I was there, that was an elementary school.
That's my neighborhood, yeah.
Okay, and it was steady. People going in, the whole time that's the only place I went.
What school is that?
It's North Bethesda Middle School. It's a big
Yeah,
precinct.
North
It's about
Bethesda Middle.
4,300 voters.
And it was,
Lines are always long there.
it was steady, it was running like a top, but I didn't even make any notes. But I was really pleased. At Pyle, there was nobody.
Right.
And they had 23 people in line, and there was no. I think while I was there, one person came in, and the judges sitting, the electronic book people, were all telling me when I go out on the street and get people and bring them in, and they were sitting there laughing, but they were. I was stunned because in that neighborhood, I would have thought that's been a voting spot for a long time. There was just nobody. At 7:15, I keep looking at the wrong one. There were at Promenade. There were 4 people waiting in line, and they were just chatting. The man said, but at there was 23, there was 20, there was 36, there was 4, there was 19 at the places I went at opening. One man said he had to wait 10 minutes, but 8 of those minutes were before the doors unlocked. He was
What is the congressional district that it's not the 8th? I'm pretty sure it was at Frost Middle School, where the Democratic ballot you vote for 4 women and 3 men.
I think
They had a stack of spoiled ballots I couldn't believe early this morning because people were overvoting and voting 4 and 4. So I, talked to both the chief judges and I went to the ballot table and I said, you simply have to have a conversation with the voters when you give them the ballot, pointing out that please be sure when you get to this, you can vote for 4 up there, but only 3 here, because if you vote 4 and 4, it's gonna, throw it out.
Congress 6,
6? Yeah.
Democrat.
Is that for delegates?
It's just
It's the
Democratic
Democratic delegates to the convention, yes. The
It's
others
the only
are 4 and 4, so there's not an issue. And it really shows up in the spoiled ballots, yeah.
And we did in the, we covered that during the chief briefing, that they should not only in anticipation of, I was expecting longer lines, but preparing the privacy sleeves, but that they should go over the ballot showing that, vote for one, you vote both sides, and the number to, can be vote for 1, vote up to 3, vote up to 4, and that they should, remind the voters to read that part.
I found at the ballot table in a lot of the precincts are students. They're using students. And they're a little loath to get into conversation with people.
I, just as a side thought that I had during early voting, actually, if we had on the checkout table when the kids or whoever gives you your stick, if there was a jar with a sign that said "Please leave pen," that I have a feeling we wouldn't lose as many pens.
Are we having a lot of pens going
Not
out
a lot,
the door?
but it just saves money.
Well, we did that at the early voting centers, at least in Silver Spring. We went and got some baskets and put them down so that we could retrieve the pens. So.
Well, I just think people keep them and don't even think about it.
You know what, the little flower, I don't know which district they did, they put those plastic flower, tape it to the pen. not that like doctor's office.
Yeah. That's probably a clever
Yeah,
idea.
that's- Yeah.
But the election judges, I mean, it's, as Margie said, and we did it at Germantown, we had a basket right there, and so they would hand them the I voted today sticker, and they, ask
That's
them
what
to
I'm talking
drop
about.
it in.
I didn't
But
see
that
that
was
anyplace.
that's the judges bringing
Yeah.
materials from
I just
home.
thought it would be.
And that idea of a flower, that would certainly, we can pass that along for the
Mid-County
November.
actually put I voted stickers around the top part and made a little flag on it. So
Oh.
that it was,
Oh.
That's cute
Clever.
too, yeah.
Anyway, I'm told that lunch is here.
Yeah, we did
Okay.
a yarn. We put yarns on ours.
David, sorry, we're gonna have to split your lunch between the rest of us.
So if you give me the timesheet, I promise I will take
Okay.
I'm gonna be just in time.
Oh, you're out in the parking lot, eh?
Margaret, just one more issue. A lot of the way the original setup was
Yes.
supposed to be done in some of these precincts
Mhm.
were not the best way for this kind of voting, for the flow. And so we made a lot of changes with the judges last night, a couple of them, and I asked them to please put it, to draw it and to put it in there with their suggestions for the general election.
Right.
Like Little Bennett, it just makes no sense the way the flow is. It's like they have actually doors going out to the parking lot. Like people could just come in, vote, and they could just keep going. And they have by those doors, they have plugs for the scanners. So it's kind of like they're going in, they're going here, they're going back, they're going here, and then going back again.
Yeah.
I
So the
thought,
flow,
yeah, same thing. Mhm.
in the general election, I think, with this, because it's just more lines, and so since it's a new voting thing, people, once they get their folder, they're like, where do I go? So,
Don't they have the marks on the floor, the arrows?
a lot of them did not. I had to put I did a lot of marking on the floor. That's why I needed more, I need more tape.
One judge
Okay.
didn't like that sign.
Yeah, no, and it's, but I'm just saying, like, like Clarksburg Elementary is a small room, and then some of them have the tables of the cafeteria, so they don't have a lot of room to mingle with, but they have a lot of tables to sit up, and they were short of tables, so we just borrowed one. But it's just, the flow of it was not.
Again,
Clarksburg
Again,
Elementary.
the thing is that if they have a better flow, we highly recommend. But, I mean, I will definitely have Chris call the chiefs
Yeah.
and make a recommendation.
And
because
this chief, he was made chief last night, so he said I didn't feel like I could change the setup. He says, this setup doesn't make sense for me. And they had the handicap unit in the middle of the floor. It was just very odd, because
Yeah, when I was at Quince Orchard
It's just like-
Library, they had it in the middle of the
and
floor.
I said,
Yeah.
no, we're
No,
not
not
doing
a good
this.
place.
Not a good place. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, and what is Landing Elementary?
Yes.
It was a problem child last time,
Mhm.
and it's a problem child again. Can we please make sure for the general election to get some people who can manage it better?
Well, we're always looking for names, recommendations for names.
No, I know, but can we not use the same people again?
Oh, they would.
Well,
Yes. Can we? I mean, there's some. No, I know I'm on the record. That's okay. But they need somebody with experience, and not somebody who doesn't. They couldn't even log on.
we're looking for people who want to come back.
So we're gonna take a break.
Oh, okay.
Lunches, yeah. they're gonna-
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
We can pick it up, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm through.
All right, we're back on the record after lunch, and we were talking about the Election Day activities today. Anybody else have any insights or observations from today?
I thought the judges, excuse me, Nahi, go
No, I
ahead.
just want to say one time it would be if you make a sign that said scanner. We made one in early voting EOB, and that was good.
Yeah, they
People
made-
would look and would vote that.
And overall, my sense was that people were better trained than they had been in the past. In the opening, there appeared to be a better way to do, we're doing things better. It was less confusion.
Less equipment.
Yeah,
I agree with
I
that.
saw quite a bit of confusion.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw quite a bit of things going smoothly, and I mean, for the most part, I mean, I think the system is easier.
Absolutely.
But there was definitely confusion, starting with, of course, the places where they didn't have the requisite chief judges, although I realize that sometimes happens. But a number of places where there, you know, as I mentioned earlier, where the maps didn't quite match, so they didn't know quite what to do with that.
But that's going to be taken care of.
Right, I understand it's going to be taken care of. I'm just saying.
You heard about the electioneering?
Yeah, but I'm just saying though that did lead to to a certain element of confusion. You know, a lot of times you show up and the electioneers are like, "Wait a second, last time we were somewhere else," and whatever.
And maybe we're talking about a little different things. What I meant was people seemed to know what they were doing. There were a couple of places I saw them pacing off electioneering, but they kind of knew what to do.
And what I'm saying is that I went to a couple of places where the judges delegated that responsibility to one of their staff, who then put the electioneering line not in conjunction with either 25 feet or the photo. And in one instance, I literally asked the guy, how was he deciding where to put it, and he says, "We're deciding arbitrarily." I'm glad he doesn't have to testify. So I think there was a fair, in most places everything's great. I mean, in most places you go places and they are. I mean, the photographs are very helpful. People can literally figure it out. Exactly where it goes.
Are those in the binders? Where are
They're
those?
in the facility map.
Yeah.
We send a facility packet to the judges, with their team of workers that have pledged to work for us about 10 to 2 weeks prior to the election, and it shows a picture of the facility, the room diagram, the personal safety locations that the police and fire are aware of.
And then the
Bombs
proposed electioneering bound. Now, Kevin, like when we were talking about Somerset Elementary, would the photograph for that show both entrances or just the entrance that the board recognizes as the official entrance?
What the board
I think it was just what the board, and that's why there was a hiccup there.
Right.
The one I guess I should mention, I went out to Rocking Horse. Alan, Hanoff, I don't know how many times we chatted today about that particular location. They did have an issue, which is both scanners went down at Rocking Horse.
both.
Wow.
And one was the result
In
of
Alcar's area.
One was the result of when the machine was started, it was low on paper because it went right to the red paper, the red line, which meant that it was short on paper. So that's a training issue that moving forward, obviously, we need to make sure that the paper is full when the machines are deployed. And the other went down when a voter apparently put the ballot in at a weird angle and jammed the scanner itself. And so there was a brief period of time where both units were down, and the judge did not realize that the ballots could be placed in the ballot box. So that was one issue.
So what did they do?
They waited. They waited until the problem was resolved.
Until you showed up.
Well, by the time I got there, there was no one waiting, there was no lines, there was nothing. Montgomery had been there and had resolved the issue.
Okay.
And everything had been taken care of in fairly short order. I guess, though, it does underscore really the fact that we need to make sure that we have plenty of paper so that units are not down because of that. Because when Jim and I were at Silver Spring for the first day of early voting, one of the 3 scanners was not necessary because we didn't have long lines, but one scanner was not initially being used for that reason.
Because it didn't have
what paper are you talking about?
Printer paper.
The printer paper,
That's
the little-
paper
the
gets
zero
to-
report.
when it gets close to the end, it gets basically a red line.
Yes.
Like a narcotic
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
when they
Tape.
started, when they did that this morning, it went right to the red line, so they didn't want to use that scanner.
What would have caused that? Couldn't have happened just
Human
printing
error.
out the zero report.
Human error. They were supposed to replace after they completed the logic and accuracy testing, which, you were sick, so you didn't get to come here. We had the tapes out when we were doing that, but it's really, what did they say? It's a very long tape.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
supposed
no, I've
to,
seen
no,
it.
it's really
No,
long now.
longer than before.
So what they're supposed to do is replace it with a fresh tape, and somehow it got missed.
Oh.
So, and then the other was just that we got jammed when a voter went ahead and put a ballot in. But that got resolved and there were no lines there. By the time I was there, in fact, there was literally no one in line waiting to vote. And so that seemed to be resolved, but I think it probably does underscore the board's desire to have extra scanners to be deployed during the general
Yeah.
election.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to respond quickly to those
Yeah, we should
situations.
wrap all this up into a letter to send people to justify
Well, as
that.
Margaret said, there's only, what, one or two, as we talk, in reserve, right?
7.
Seven in reserve?
We have 7 in reserve for the whole county?
Total.
Right now.
Not anymore.
We've sent some out.
You said
Not
some,
anymore.
you said some have 2 and some have 1.
Right.
But we only have 7 in reserve
Right.
after we've sent out the ones we've sent out. And how do
Yeah.
we decide? We send it to the largest precincts? Or?
Well, the certain precincts that have greater than 4,000 get two
Okay.
scanners. And then those precincts that have a high elderly population, like the Leisure World,
Yeah.
the Rider Woods, they're going to get 2 because of the issues.
Per precinct at Leisure World,
Right.
each of the 3.
And then that's pretty much it. High elderly, and we have precincts that have other demographic requirements that might cause the process to go a little slower.
So did 719 have 2?
So Clarksville Elementary has more than 4,000 voters?
It must have.
And the Silver
I don't
Spring
know.
Library only had 1, I gather?
Because you could
correct.
barely fit
Yeah.
one scanner in their room.
Yeah. Getting back to the electioneering for a moment, I think it would be helpful for, at least for me and possibly for everybody on the board, on election day to have just a full set of those electioneering maps. Because the first thing I do when I get there is I ask for them to show me the map. And a lot of times, then I can't quite find it. One judge has it, the other judge has it, et cetera. And if we can walk in knowing,
What do you mean by you want a full set? Because see all those binders back there?
Yeah.
That's a full set.
What,
Alright.
in the binder?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, all the binders.
All right.
One
Fine.
full
Well,
set.
then electronically, so I can get it on my phone.
200.
Yeah.
Is
I would
there any
like- I
reason
would
why
like the
we couldn't
ones-
have it for the precincts we're assigned?
Yeah, I would
Ju-
like the ones for me.
Well, but the ones that were assigned aren't necessarily where you end up. And I ended up in a few places today that I wasn't assigned because I was in the neighborhood, which I think is the way the system's supposed to work, because that way I go because I'm close by and someone else doesn't have to go as far.
Can you access them online?
Well, you could get a flash drive, but you
Yeah, I
have to
think
look
it-
at it on a laptop.
Right.
Yeah, I can-
Which is fine too. I mean, if I had a way of doing that, all I'm saying is that it takes extra time, to, admittedly, the judges should have it and they should be able to find it. But I'm saying that if you show up and the electioneering lines don't look right, you already know you have an issue.
Well,
So,
certainly for the
you know,
general election, if that's
yeah.
what the board desires, it can be made available.
Right. The other thing would be to, like, when I say, David, can you go to 0925 to check the electioneering? We could, from a computer here, just
Email me the map at that. Email me the map at that
Particular
point.
map, so you're
That
not
would-
lugging around
No,
maps
that would
that you want.
no, that would work too.
That would, so
That would be great.
That would work too. Yeah, I have no desire to micromanage 250 decisions. I just want to be able to walk in and know what the story is that I'm entering into without
What was the
You know.
disc that Alan Banoff got? Was that what he bought? Was the disc of all the maps? Didn't he buy a disc or get a disc?
I thought he got it.
Precinct maps.
It was just precinct maps?
Yeah, I don't think it was a map of electioneering.
Yeah. One of the things that and this is a minuscule problem, is last night nobody had out their sign-in sheets and looked at me blankly. And I just left my card and just said, attach it if you can to everything. And today, lots of people didn't.
Oh, really?
But
I signed in everywhere.
But it's in the red folder.
I signed it every
Yeah.
We got it out.
I didn't
I had at
sign
least
in
one
last night,
precinct
though.
where
last night.
A couple of people
they
that
couldn't
weren't
find
there.
it.
Not all.
They had me
No, no.
sign on a pad of paper, which I did, but
When?
but
Today?
they today, yeah, they couldn't find it.
It was hit or miss for me.
Well,
It's
it
some-
used to
somewhere-
be, it used to be on yellow paper.
Right. So
Yeah, now it's like-
some were literally
I like the yellow
hello.
better.
These were all
I like
Yes,
the yellow
exactly.
better.
Yeah.
Exactly. I had a few of those where I got there and I
These
said
were all
hello, and the
white
first thing
paper.
they said was, "Would you please sign in?"
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know, which is great.
When they were on yellow
Yeah.
paper, I always, and I kept telling people that look for the piece of
I did
paper.
too. I was saying
Is it
last
not
night.
on yellow
It's
paper?
on white
I like-
paper.
I just-
Oh
regular
no!
white.
Oh no! That's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause
the
there's
colored
so
paper
much
was a
paper.
big help.
I know.
So much
Yeah.
paper.
All the places, no problem. They had them there.
Yeah.
No, I had a couple of judges who were new,
The signing.
and they didn't know
The
they
signing sheet.
didn't know where.
Let me give ask
I
a
just went through
universal
the
question.
red folder.
Overall, do we think things went well today so far?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Yes.
Considering it's a new system and we're talking about 233 precincts
Yeah.
and, yes, I would say so.
One politician didn't go and scan it. They said that the people see what I'm voting.
A
And I
politician
when
said that?
You have the folder.
Well, but
You the one you scan it, the one who take the folder from you is busy doing other things.
and it
He's
doesn't
not
come up on
watching
the
you.
scanner screen
No.
anyway.
I'm
So.
not naming them. But
Yeah.
Kevin, the only issue I had again with Clarksburg Elementary was it? You remember we had the issue with the handicap issue?
Right.
We're having the issue again.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I did take that to Chris. and they
Yeah.
were Working on reprogramming that door.
Yeah. So I just don't want to have that issue again for the general election because that's actually a busy precinct. Like I was surprised that there was actually more people voting there than we had like at Clarksburg High School in Rocky Hill. And the handicap door was closed, and the handicap parking spaces are next to the handicap door.
Is that something that the ICD has to have their building service managers do, is activate that? Because I know last night at the precinct, I spent the night.
Spent the night at the precinct?
Which one was that parking? Do tell.
Because the person from the ICB said that they were going to be seriously revising their procedures before November, and so we may want to make them aware that that's one thing that continues to happen, so that when they're doing whatever it is they're doing.
There was a lady from the
I'll be
Handicap
happy.
Association, I don't know, something to do with compliance, at Grosvenor School Center. And the minute I walked in and introduced myself to the chief judge, she immediately accosted me and said, "This is not a compliant place, handicap compliant, that there's no handicap thing to push for the door to open." And I said, "I didn't notice the door was sitting open, but we'll certainly take care of that. I'm on my way to a
The
meeting."
door was propped open? Oh.
Not the door to the room.
the handicap things.
The front door, because there were other things going on outside. The front door was propped open when I walked in. But she complained that there was no way, if it hadn't been, that a handicapped person could have gotten in. Well, the chief judge and I, evidently she'd been saying, we're going to get a report, that she, anyway, I walked outside with the chief judge, and you pushed a button and somebody in the office let you in. That you could get in, but that wasn't her. She hadn't noticed it or whatever. But she's
I think
running around
we
doing
talked
things.
about this, that after Sandy Hook, the school system looked at security in a whole different way. And it used to be that all you had to do was flip a switch. In fact, very similar to what we do here. and the door would open and the press plate would work. Now it's a system that has to be programmed
Right.
by the school system to have the door function. So, but propping the door open, it does make it handicap accessible.
Yeah.
So, I know that.
And we're allowed to do that?
And we're allowed to do that.
I knew it had to be handicap accessible. It was a school. It's an elementary school.
My issue, this is my issue.
Your issue
Yeah, my
is right.
issue, yeah.
I mean, yours
Because
is-
when they park right there, it's, you know, I
should-
had a lady who was
Right.
there for 5 minutes trying to open it because that's where the handicap entrance is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, to make things worse, the ones, when you go there, it says, do not prop these doors open at any time, and it has big signs, right? And I was like, I don't care. I opened it. I was like, until you guys fix that, because it's the only way that people can get in.
Right, and they're supposed, the school system received all of the locations, and everybody identified that this was the handicap access
Yeah.
door, and they were to program all of the doors to open at 7 a.m.
Right. And we
So-
had an issue, with that school last time as well.
So I will bring it up to the school system once again.
And if it's an ICB issue, let me know. I'll be happy to help out with that.
My notes don't reflect which facility you were just.
Clarksburg Elementary.
I already gave it to.
And overall, you all done a great job.
Kevin, have you talked about Knights of Columbus? I just wanted to say that the signage there was great.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't. David went last night.
Yeah, there were. You guys remember? Maybe I don't remember the. Was it 62? What was the number of that precinct? Anyway,
1358.
1358, where the board voted to move it from Knights of Columbus to Flora Singer Elementary School, which does require a number of zigs and zags
Yes, I remember
to get there. So the request was to put up signage at every turn, and I tried it last night in the dark, and there were signs at every turn.
Got you where you were going?
It got me where I was going without my GPS. I will say it's still it's in a corner. It's the building itself looks beautiful, but in terms of where it is in order to get there, it's a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
But every twist and turn had a sign.
Great.
But I think that's going to get easier and now that the community is really using that school, I think that people are going to become more, because that's the old McKinney
Yeah, that's
Hill,
what
Yes.
I thought.
which really was not used by most of the population
Right,
in that
right.
area. So
So-
now that people are becoming more familiar with that elementary school,
Right.
hopefully that will be. You're right.
Yeah.
It's tucked away.
It's tucked away.
It's tucked back.
It's in order to get there, and but I was glad that if someone goes to Knights of Columbus and wants to find it, there are arrows to get there. I also had my first opportunity to see the polling place at Montgomery College in 1347, which I know people. I'm trying to remember when we started dealing with 1347 as an issue. It seems like every election 1347.
2002.
Oh, okay. Well,
2002.
anyway, it was interesting in a number of respects. I was greeted by the provost of the university. He was kind of handling the parking lot. They saved 4 spaces for voters because the rest of it is used by faculty and students. Yes, 4.
Parking is across the street.
No parking across the street
There's
is
a parking garage across.
also for faculty and students.
King, across the
What,
King parking.
what he told me was that the only parking for voters was the parking in that lot that was 4 or 5 spaces, and that the faculty and students use both across the street and that lot.
You need a permit.
Yeah, you need a permit to park there.
Across Georgia is the parking lot.
No,
Or public-
across Georgia.
Is the public parking.
I don't believe there's a public parking right
Well-
across from that facility.
Not directly across,
Right.
half a block down.
I didn't see it.
Well,
The judge was telling me that the judges actually do park on the other side of Georgia Avenue, like on the street.
My Mayorga used to be.
And anyway, so parking is definitely an issue there. A lot of people walk,
We're on the other side.
Which is why we liked it.
Yeah, right, but.
That's why
but-
they chose it.
I
That's
understand.
what the
Yeah,
neighborhood
yeah.
No, no.
association wanted it.
Yeah. I mean, well, they wanted something closer than they were at Silver Spring Civic Center at one point, which is much further away for them. They liked being at NOAA, but we had issues. Not we had issues. I guess NOAA had issues. So anyway.
And I take it those 4 or 5 spaces then are really handicap spaces.
No,
Well, they should be.
they weren't. They were in the far corner of the lot.
Oh.
They were coned off, but they were, they had other handicap spaces, I think, that were probably just handicap spaces for any handicapped person.
Right.
But,
Roundness, they have
and the judge actually
They're
brought
voters.
chairs to put outside so that a handicapped person coming from the parking lot would have a place to stop on the way to the polls, because Montgomery College did not have any movable seats that could go outside.
wheelchair.
So I mean, I give the judge great credit for having thought ahead to
Yeah.
to do all that. He said that though, that, I mean, it's a really cozy fit in that room there. So,
Yeah, it is.
So I don't know whether they have other rooms that are possible, if there's any other, and I realize I don't want to throw open something that we've already struggled with for many years, but it is a very cozy fit in that particular location. So anyway, it was interesting to
On the
To
Broadmoor
see that.
Lane,
Or Facebook.
Can I put it up there? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, put it in.
on the Broadmoor Lane school that I went to, I think is that North Chevy Chase? Yeah, Broadmoor, North Bethesda. The street was blocked off a block away. They were doing some road work in the middle of the street, and they had the street blocked off. And so you had to detour to get to the school. And as I drove down, I couldn't go, because I turned the wrong direction, turned around, went back. There was a man directing traffic there that works for the construction crew kind of guy. And I pulled up and just said, vote. He said, yeah, you go down here and you turn around. So we had recruited a construction man to be our vote guy.
excellent.
That's funny.
It was funny, and I'm sure when he went to work that morning, the last thing he was expecting to do was to direct the vote in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty, do we have anything else?
There's 2 more items on the
Right.
agenda. Unfortunately, it didn't make it to your agendas, and we
Oh.
apologize for that.
Why don't we take them in reverse order?
Okay.
Jim, we had talked about the May board meeting, moving it up.
Looking it up.
Oh, yeah, there was a reason because,
16
No.
to the 9th.
and the reason was,
The
Certification.
The certification, because part of what we need to do to close the campus now is we have to vote at our next meeting on rejected ballots to go ahead and then close the campus. So Margaret wanted to move up the meeting for purposes of certification. I don't think it's going to be a long meeting other than to go ahead and basically do that.
is there a deadline for
No,
that?
but the question was, we would need to have a meeting to do that. Did we want to combine it with the May board meeting,
But is there,
or bring everybody back 2 weeks in a row?
well, we can't do everything on the 16th?
Has to be certified by
When does it have to be certified by?
That's what
Because we have, we're still doing
Provisional.
canvas on the
Yeah.
7th,
Yeah, right.
That's
May
right, yeah.
7th. And the 8th was out there, thrown out there as a
Yeah.
date, but it's Mother's Day, which
When I
was a
looked at my
problem.
calendar after Margaret mentioned, yes.
Yeah.
Mary Ann's right, it's
I can't imagine, and I for one don't want a full board meeting on the 9th. There needs to be a break in there for.
Yeah, it's actually, it's better to, if we don't have a deadline, it's
Well,
better to have
Why
space.
don't we do everything
so,
on the
you know,
16th then?
Well, I think we do.
If we
We have a
can.
certification deadline. I just don't know what
Right.
Do
it
you know
is.
what that is?
What is the certification deadline?
Keep the 16th and do that at the,
Well, yeah, unless they have a deadline.
unless there's a deadline, yeah.
And then maybe.
And then maybe just do that if you have to do it sooner. If the certification is required
Let's see
sooner.
if it's a deadline.
Yeah.
Well, do you need a meeting, or can we just do the certification when we're already
No, we
here
have
on
to
the
have a
8th?
board
there now,
meeting.
now there has to be a
The
meeting.
state
Now
has
there has to
now
be a
said
meeting.
we
No,
have
I'm
to
saying
have
when
a
we're here on the
formal-
7th. Oh, it has to be a public meeting?
It has
You have
to
to
be.
invite, so you have to
Yes.
notify, you have to put it up. I got you.
Oh, it's a public meeting, it's a whole
Okay.
big thing.
See, that's,
No, it doesn't have to be an all-day thing.
No,
Just a-
a public,
No,
also, I said a
but it
whole
has to be
public.
It used to
notified.
be, we just used to have the president and the secretary come in and
yeah,
sign the
Yeah,
that's,
certificate.
that's why
exactly.
I'm getting
Right.
confused. Not anymore.
Margaret's here and can
Gotcha.
explain why we need it.
Gotcha.
Margaret, why do we need to meet on the 9th as opposed to?
The
Because
16th.
we have a meeting on the 16th, and the question was, why can't we do the certification on the 16th?
Can't. The certification is technically due on the 6th, but realistically, you're not.
On the
gonna be-
what?
The
6th.
6th of May. But
Friday.
we're not going to be done with
No,
the absentee and the
We're doing
provisional.
provisional.
So you need to come in the 9th, and hopefully we'll have all of the provisionals and absentees canvassed and audited. We have to, it's not only the certification that comes in, it's the audit has to go with the certification.
It's gonna be late even on the 9th though, right?
We're still
It's
gonna be
gonna be-
receiving ballots on the 6th.
Right, I was gonna
The 9th
say.
voter registration reopens,
Doesn't,
so
doesn't
we
the
have
law
that
state,
weekend.
the deadline is,
No,
the
you don't have that
certification date is
weekend.
this, or within
the
24
audit.
hours of completing
What?
the canvas?
Over the audit.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Or
not, it's whenever
documentation.
we get done.
Well, right, what
But
I'm
we
saying.
have to
But the,
do the audit.
the state now though requires that you have a formal board meeting.
We have to have a formal.
Okay,
board
but
meeting.
if it's,
To
20
certify the results, correct?
even if it's within 24 hours of being done, it sounds like we're not certain we're gonna be done on the 9th.
No.
So maybe it should be, you know, when we get done, we should say, okay, in 24 hours, we're gonna have a meeting.
Well, is the 16th a problem?
No, it's, if you
Unless
want
you-
to come twice, I mean,
No.
I just
No,
was.
I mean,
don't
can we
wanna
do
come
everything on the
twice.
16th?
We want to come on
I'm
the
just
16th.
suggesting that you have the meeting, you have your certification audit meeting and the regular board meeting
On the
all
9th.
on the 9th and 10th and not
No,
have the
no.
meeting on the
So
It
16th.
may not- we may not be
answer-
ready on the
the
9th.
ans- The answer, though, Jim, is you have to have a meeting to certify the election results. So the question is, do you do that on the 9th or the 10th? And then that's the meeting for May. I mean,
Is
that's
there-
it.
is there a
That's-
I
legal-
understand,
is
but,
there a
but,
legal
but
deadline?
from work perspective, we've all taken huge chunks of time off work, and to make it further with that, I need a break. I can't I can't take another chunk of a day.
Well, is
What,
this-
what does the law say? Does it say what Margie said it said
ridiculous.
about the certification being within 24 hours of our completing our count?
No, the canvas, but the thing is, with the canvas,
That's an
the
audit.
audit must come along with it.
So you're saying that we need extra time for the audit after that?
Yes.
How long does the audit take?
Well, if everything were to go perfectly and the judges never make a mistake, we would probably be done Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday?
We're still doing
Wait. Saturday or Sunday, you're assuming the canvas is completed when? Friday?
Friday or Saturday morning, yeah.
So that's the 7th.
Oh, that's not what our schedule looks
We
like.
have
Well,
absentee too.
functionally-
Well, the schedule has
Functionally-
built-in days in it too. I mean,
For extra.
yeah, in
Right.
case we.
Right,
need-
but I thought
Cushion.
I
It
thought
has
the
a
8th
cushion
was
in
one
it.
of the days that was built in as extra.
Functionally,
It
we will
is.
still be
It is.
receiving ballots through Friday.
Right.
The reports
6th.
that we will need to run overnight in our system in order to identify where numbers reconcile, we won't be able to run until overnight Friday night.
Okay.
And then after we've done our cross-checks, there's another set of reports that we would want to run Saturday night in order to verify that everything now is lining up.
Okay.
Such that what we brought in on Friday is now
And-
lining up. In
Okay.
order to then, we have a requirement to report to you and to have our minutes report reflect that we reported to you
On
Okay.
Sunday.
on our findings
No, not
of this
necessarily.
audit.
On
So
Sunday.
is there a requirement when you complete all of those things for how quickly you report to us or we report to the state?
I need to look. I think we need to do it within 24 hours.
Well, I'm asking whether that's a requirement or whether that's something that,
I'll
you know.
look.
Yeah.
But question, Kevin, if it has to be public, do we need to notify the public and let them know?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
right. So how many, like, what's the,
Well, it's a special meeting. I mean, our bylaws say that You know,
24
it's,
hours.
notice, reasonably, practical under the circumstances.
Because recently it's not really a
But the
Sunday,
6th,
it's mostly
but the
something
16th,
Sunday.
I mean, the 16th, is there a problem doing everything on the 16th?
Yes, there is a problem, because the state has to certify the election statewide, and that also triggers recounts.
When does the state schedule to certify the election statewide?
Yeah, plus there might be a recount.
Petition for recount.
Yeah, but we still have to certify before there's a recount.
I mean, if we can get I agree with Mary, I agree with Mary Ann, if we can get some breathing room.
I'm with you.
You too.
I'm in the breathing room caucus.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know Alex
Petition for
is.
recount
Taken
needs
day
to
after
come
day.
in on May 9th, which would be one.
Half of them aren't here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know what?
Bunch within 3
Sorry.
days and 5 days and.
The May
I
9th?
guess I'm sensing the board's sentiment that they would prefer to defer this, and that a long meeting on the 9th is not preferred, but something that would be very brief where people come in and just certify the results would be something that could be done.
Do you need to have the whole board, or do
And then
you need
come
to
back
have
on the
majority?
16th.
We need a quorum, which
We
is
need a
4.
quorum of people to come in, have a meeting, convene, certify the results, and head on their way.
Okay.
And that can
Okay.
be scheduled as a special meeting when we now have a better idea of exactly what the timetable.
And under our
is.
bylaws, that
Yeah.
can be done,
That can be done
With
as a special
24-hour
meeting.
notice.
Yeah.
or maybe not even 24.
So-
Didn't we just change that?
We
We
changed it to
changed
say
Yeah,
an emergency meeting
We
can
did.
be held
right.
with reasonable notice.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, what was due on the 9th that you said
Petition for a recount.
the petition is due on the 9th,
By the candidates.
which is Monday, okay.
But how do they, I mean, ordinarily, is that after, before, that's before
Well,
or
it's helpful
after?
if we have a certified election.
I understand, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in our results, but I guess I'm trying to understand legally, is that a necessary step, or does that deadline apply regardless? Because I thought we just said that it's technically due that Friday, and we can't do it that Friday.
That's true.
Yeah.
The state's calendar has specific dates in them, but then they're calculated based on 3 days after that or 5 days before this, and I think you may just want to have Kevin take a look at those
The
questions.
provision, okay.
Why don't we just see where we are once we
Good idea.
get closer to
Good idea.
the finish line? as
Yes.
opposed to the
We'll
start.
all be together many days, this week and next, right?
And we'll
Yeah.
do our
We'll be able
best,
to figure it out
we'll
exactly what
do our
that
best to
was.
try and get it done as fast as possible to avoid these problems.
Yes, we will.
One issue that
Zip zap.
I only because I've gotten telephone calls from some people today about is, do we want to talk about this issue with the late absentee?
Sure.
Okay. The deadline for obviously requesting an absentee ballot was, I forget what was it?
Tuesday.
It was the Tuesday.
Electronic on that Friday,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
By mail,
By mail.
Yeah.
Tuesday, 4 o'clock.
There was a campaign that there was a delay from the Postal Service in certain mail being delivered here based upon how the campaign had paid to go ahead and transmit the applications. So they were untimely when they got to the Board of Elections. So what the staff did was called those individuals and emailed them when they were, to the extent possible, told them they could still go to an early voting site, or they could come to the Board of Elections, or they could come, or they could vote,
Other precincts.
they could do e-delivery.
Right.
Or they could go to their polling place.
Right.
Or they could do any of those things.
So they were all told that they did not succeed, or are there some that we didn't get in touch with?
We sent a letter. We sent a snail mail.
A snail mail letter.
How
So,
many are we
snail mail
talking
letter,
about?
and then- Oh, I just,
211.
A couple of hundred?
There would have been some
211.
received after that.
A couple hundred or more?
Mhm.
a couple hundred, and I think everyone, the staff tried to reach everyone by telephone.
Right.
200 where the oath was not signed.
No,
No.
200 where they were
It's
not
late.
timely.
They were not timely
Not
delivered.
timely.
Delivered here.
This isn't the ballot itself, this is the application for the ballot.
Correct.
Why on earth did they deliver them instead of just emailing them? I mean, you can email an application for an absentee ballot.
We gave them
It
that
was,
option.
it was
Yeah.
business for Ply Mail,
But they decided
set
to
up by
go,
a campaign.
that campaign, whatever, decided to
Right,
go
but
that route.
they also could have just scanned it and emailed it to you.
And we told them that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which they didn't do.
They didn't do.
Okay.
So,
But-
isn't this the responsibility of the campaign?
It is, but the staff went, and reached
Well,
out to these
we'll still hear
people
about it.
and said,
Big time.
we
Yeah.
can't send you a ballot, so here are your options. You can do
Right.
web delivery,
That was
you
very
can go
nice.
to an early
Right.
voting
That's
center.
great.
You can go vote at the Board of
Yeah.
Elections, or you can go vote at your polling place, but.
But,
at least
but this,
one
but this,
vote.
but this is not happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was nice. I mean, that was.
So,
I think
have we
that was
heard,
very
have we,
nice.
For
Don't-
all of the
I don't care who,
non-finalists
but have we
received,
heard from
not
the
just for
campaign?
this subcategory.
Oh, we do that for all
like,
of
like,
them.
does the campaign
That's still
know what
very
we
nice.
did and,
Oh, the campaign has gotten themselves in serious trouble with the U.S. Postal Service because they used a method that is not
Who,
proper.
can you tell us who the
So-
campaign is?
no,
No.
no, I
I'm
don't
just
wanna know.
asking.
I don't wanna know.
They did
not a
request,
Republican
and the
No.
state,
Definitely not.
the state, the campaign requested the names of the individuals, and the state said that they would be allowed to receive those names, so those names were provided to the campaign.
The names of the 200 voters
Uh,
were given to the campaign that sent them to us?
Yes, that's what the state said to do.
They didn't already have them?
I don't know. They said that they wanted the names of the individuals that were untimely. We gave it to them in an Excel format.
Wow.
And we reached out to them anyway, so hopefully they got a chance to vote.
But that's our policy anyway, so.
Right.
Right?
Good. That was good.
The
Okay.
voters were mailed an absentee ballot application with a business reply mail envelope that was sending it back to us.
Awesome.
Oh, the envelope was to send it to us, but business reply mail doesn't go as fast as regular mail, I guess.
Right.
And it was going to us rather than to the holders of the business reply mail permit.
Which is a no-no.
And you have to fund the account.
Yes.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a no-no.
That's right,
No
yes.
money in your account.
Okay.
Of course.
So-
All of the money.
Well,
So,
Yeah.
anything regarding the canvas that we need to cover?
You said there was two
I-
issues? There was another issue, Kevin?
No, that was
Oh,
the
Oh,
only-
okay.
that was-
any more issues that you heard that we need to be aware of when we go out there?
No, I think,
Margaret.
Asbury, I went out for no electioneering, but nothing significant. They worked it out by the time I was there.
Yeah,
How are we
they're
doing
a little
on-
bit overzealous there. The chief judge is a little bit zealous of electioneering. He doesn't like.
Well, Asbury, the no electioneering needs to be reworked.
Yes, we do.
Because where we've had it before is basically by the door. But unfortunately, when you look at the building, a lot of the people don't need to go, they don't need to leave their building, so they bypass everything.
Right, because they just go down.
So
Yeah.
it was a legitimate concern by the people who were there that said, we miss half the people that are
Wait,
coming in to vote because they don't have to walk by us at all.
but Kevin,
Yeah,
a question for you. Did they move the electionary signs that I put in? Where did you find them? Because I was there last night.
I moved them closer, Gracie.
No, but I had moved them, so that means they had moved them back.
They're by.
Maybe they moved them back
you-
again.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You know how you go by you walk in,
Yes.
there are two hallways where
Yes.
people can go into.
Yeah.
And then you go down and you take basically the right there.
Right, to go down the hallway.
That's where the no electioneering signs are.
I'd like to look at
So
the
where did you?
possibility.
I'm sorry. Where
sorry,
did
go
you
ahead.
find them? Whether they had moved them closer to the middle of the
I
hallway?
had found them back by one by the middle of
Yep.
the room and one by
English
the
on the front, Spanish on the
door.
back.
Okay,
Huh?
so they
Yes,
moved
I
them.
know.
Because
Okay.
I had them closer to.
Yes, you
so-
go move
That's
them
where
back.
they are.
Let me
They're
check.
back.
Let me
Okay,
check.
can we
Quick.
just make a
Is that
note
for
for
us?
for the judges for the general election?
Schedule?
Margie.
So
That's
the-
where they should be.
Yeah,
Where you
I was going to suggest,
you.
if we could, I had some lengthy conversations with both electioneers and judges about the electioneering boundary and how it's a balance between leaving the voters alone who want to be left alone and the constitutional rights of the people who want to electioneer. Anything we can do to just get greater awareness among the judges as to the, because that's kind of a delicate balance.
It is.
And I think a lot of times there's a lot of zealous enforcement on one side or the other, but not necessarily an understanding of that balance.
But I actually, I don't know if you remember 2 years ago, we had some very aggressive electioneering
Right.
by
Yeah,
some
right.
candidates, and I think at least from what I've seen today, I mean, it's
It was
been
good.
fairly cooperative
Yeah.
among.
Yeah, they were.
Yes, amazingly
were.
so.
Yeah.
I thought, I was
Yeah.
expecting that
Right.
there might be more aggressiveness
Right.
than what I've
Really,
seen.
it's been very, I think.
Well, as the
very-
day goes on, it gets.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it'll,
Yeah.
yeah.
People's nerves get frayed,
Yeah.
and
No,
they
but
get
there
more
was
whipped up to
there
the
was a
end.
problem with people, like couple, they have change of address. The wife went through the poll book, but the husband were not there in the poll book. I mean, same people, they mailed the change of address. Somehow one got missed, or people changed the party and they doesn't. The poll book still shows the old one. There was some problem.
You know, the
with
question is, did they
the
really?
mail.
Oh,
mail
we
thing.
get this in every primary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, there's a certain amount. I was actually very happy in most places that the number of provisionals was low.
Yes.
Because the number of poll was low too.
And a lot of it was people voting in the wrong precinct.
Yeah, right.
And then there were a whole group from a senior home that came in a bus to one place, and the issue was absentee ballots. They had applied for them and either had not voted them, or said they didn't vote them, or they didn't remember whether they voted them. So they then voted provisionally. But not too many of the wanting to change parties, or, you know, thinking they're, what do you mean I'm independent? Having lived through that one
They
in the
didn't know that
past.
they cannot
Yeah.
vote.
Well, we have one, but we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
Margie,
Okay,
I'm sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I have redone the tentative schedule for the canvas a little bit differently. I've divided each day into 3 segments, 10 to 2, 2 to 7, and 7 to 9. There is only one time frame when we will not have a quorum,
Is this yours?
and that is April 30th from 10 to 2. We only have 3 people
No, are you? Because you're not-
signed up to be
you're listed
here,
to
and
be
that
here.
is the second day of the canvas, which is most likely going to be needed.
Oh, the second, that's Friday.
You are.
Yeah,
And
so
when are you short?
the 10 to 2 time frame.
You have
No,
4.
it's Saturday, right?
I'm sorry,
April
which
30th.
day, which
Wait a
day?
minute.
I'm,
April 30th, I apologize.
That's Saturday.
10 to 2.
It's Saturday.
It's
Yeah.
Saturday.
and I apologize, I'm the reason for the problem there. I have to get on a plane at midnight Friday night and go up to Maine, and I'm
This is
coming
yours, I
back
think.
Monday to deal with an emergency situation of my daughter and her husband who have to go out of town that weekend for a family emergency in his family. His mother's having surgery. And, you know, I just felt I needed to do it, and
Is it this Saturday?
if there's any way
Yes.
people can fill
I
in
can
for
do
me,
it.
I'd be ever so
You can do
appreciative.
this Saturday from
Yeah.
10 to 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already here,
You're
right?
already.
Yeah, I'm already here.
No, I'm not here.
Oh, 10 to 2, you're not in.
Right,
But
so
you can
that
No,
takes care of
no,
it. If you
no,
can
you're
be
not.
here, then that takes care of it.
Oh, so I gotta be here, wait.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I'm here the rest of
Saturday?
the whole day?
Yeah.
You're not here, Grayson.
Can
Oh, I didn't wanna be here.
You're
All
not
day.
here from 10 to 2, you're here from 2 to 7.
It's a
From 10 to
Saturday, though,
7.
it's not a work day.
No, I know, but then it'll be
From
I'll
10
be
to
here from 10 to
7.
9.
Till 6 down
Oh,
here,
oh,
2
nice.
to
For
6
signature.
on Saturday.
Sometimes it's
He
less
doesn't have
than
to be
9
Yeah, 2 to
really.
6.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
You can go home and they call you when they have it ready.
Yeah,
You guys want me to
because
come
I'm
in
here from 2 to
earlier?
7.
No. Well, if you can.
I'm here 2 to 7 on Saturday.
Well, here's the deal. If you flipped and if you came in from 10 to 2 and I put you as a no for 2 to 7, I would have enough people the entire day.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Which person
Oh,
are
that's
you
good.
talking
You
to?
get, well,
You talking to Jim?
I'm talking to Jim
Okay.
So
for
I'm gonna,
April 30th. If he is in the morning, that gives me 4 people in the morning. If he is out in the afternoon, that still gives me 4 people in the afternoon.
Because Gracie is here.
Oh,
Because
great.
Gracie's here.
Yeah, no,
wait,
that works.
Gracie's here where?
Yeah,
On the
that'd be fine.
29th, I'm
On the
here.
30th in the afternoon.
This Saturday, Gracie.
Yeah.
This Saturday, the 30th, I'm not on here at all.
Yes, you are.
Where?
This is the middle of the day.
Right.
She's done a different color for each day.
So I'm
So
here.
you're not here in the morning, you're here in the afternoon, you're not here in the evening.
Oh,
All right, so I'm here from 10 to 2 on Saturday.
wait, can I switch with you, Jim? 'Cause
No, they just switched me.
Can I switch you again?
What is it you're trying to do, Grace?
No, they needed somebody in the morning.
Right. I thought I was here in the morning, because I have something at 2:30.
Oh, so,
I have my son's play.
okay, so,
If you don't mind.
no problem. So,
So you won't be here in the
Okay,
afternoon and you
so-
will be here in the morning.
Yes,
all right, so,
if you don't mind, that would
so
be.
I'm here from 2 to 7.
And I'll be here 10 to 2.
Okay.
Margie, does that work for you?
And I can see I'm going to be doing
All
a
right.
lot of signing.
Gracie
This
is gonna
weekend.
be here 10 to 2.
On the 30th.
Jim is not.
Correct.
I'll be-
Jim will be here 2 to 7 on the
Correct.
30th. Gracie will not.
Correct.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
you may have another issue
You got the morning,
with the 7th.
May 7th, yeah.
No, well,
I think Gracie is not accurately reflected.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
not your fault, hers.
I think it's mine.
okay, so what are you able to do on the 7th?
I can do anything till like 5, right? What's in
Well,
the
we
ball?
all have the same thing on
Yeah,
the
Yes.
the
7th.
spring, the spring
It's,
ball.
yeah.
So we're gonna stop at 5 on the 7th?
Could we stop at 5 on the 7th? That would be the question.
Well,
On
and,
the
and
7th.
That's a week
Well,
from
if
Saturday.
we're May 7th from 2 to 7, I've got 4 people. I've got all 7. It's just one needs to leave at 4 and one needs to leave at 5.
Well, actually, two of us need to leave at 5.
Two need to leave at 5.
Okay,
I
so
need to
who's
leave
the
at
other
5.
one?
It's a
Marianne and Gracie.
Yeah.
it's a big Democratic Party.
Okay.
event.
Yeah.
One,
I mean,
two,
it's-
but we still would have 4 people. We
Yep.
would still have Jim, Nahid.
Alex.
Oh, it would be all.
It would be-
You don't
it would be-
have-
it would be all ours.
Republicans.
You don't have a minority.
Okay, so we would need to stop at 5 on
But
May
it also
7th.
means that
That
there's
would
no
be
one
great.
necessarily to sign unless they can sign at 5.
Margaret,
What happened?
on
Seventh.
May 7th,
What day is that?
it's I don't know.
Saturday.
Saturday. There will not be, anybody available.
But
But
the
you all
Democratic Party.
said when we were having the discussion about the 9th that you thought we'd be finished early on the 7th.
Well, it all depends on how many ballots come back.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how many are gonna come
Because
back.
that's absentee too,
Right.
which usually isn't that many.
Well,
No.
no, sometimes
Really?
it's, yeah.
You can
So-
show a signature.
It's different
7
because
to
of the
9.
different rules now,
I mean,
because of when early voting gets cut off, and when you need to go ahead and program the EPVs for election day. So the cutoff date for what can be included in the first
I
absentee
live 2 minutes from here.
occurs, has changed, and has been pushed forward. So we can't include as much in absentee 1 as we used to be
Oh,
able to do.
really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if absentee 1 is not done by Friday evening. So,
That's good.
So,
Well, that would be great.
So
And then when would you start provisional?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
You still have to wait till Wednesday.
Statutorily, yeah.
Oh,
but in terms,
that would be great though, because then I wouldn't be messing up everybody's schedule.
Now, the other, well, we'll
So,
So,
work through that.
But that
So the
does
issue
make
is
that
signing on
that
Gracie.
other weekend.
yeah.
Gracie.
because.
Otherwise,
We're here
I-
Saturday morning.
maybe I can go home at some point in the afternoon on the 7th and come back in my ball gown.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll figure it out. It'll all work out.
Okay. and what do
I
we
will
do?
do something there to help out
Yeah,
if
we'll
need be,
figure it out.
because I'm causing the other problem.
Are we waiting until later to decide about Mother's Day, or are we? Do we need to decide that sooner?
Well, staff will be working Mother's Day.
We've got enough people on Mother's Day.
When is Mother's
It's the
Day?
8th?
Yeah, we've got Jim, Nahid, Jackie,
Mother's
and
Day, I'm not talking about
Graciela.
Mother's Day. No, no way.
Well, you didn't indicate.
Oh, sorry. When is Mother's Day?
May
yeah, I didn't realize either. May
You
Like me
indicated.
Good thing I said something.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be here either,
But
but
hey, you indicated you would not be here in the evening, but you did not indicate you wouldn't be here.
I
for
will
the
be
second.
here in the evening.
It's an open.
I have a
meeting.
brunch, but that
No,
I'm
May 1st I cannot,
actually
sorry.
hosting as a
My
mother.
mom.
May 1st or
Well,
May
why
8th?
don't we-
May
Why don't we-
8th,
why don't we-
Mother's
wait,
Day.
wait.
May 8th.
Okay,
Wait,
I haven't made any plans yet, which is why you have question marks next to my name.
Yeah.
But I have the
You have-
mother of my children and my mother both to think about for that day.
Okay, well, we can figure that out. Just so that everyone knows, and I spoke with Jim and Alex only because they had not gone through the canvas before, just to kind of give them a brief overview. But this is going to be different for everyone this time around because of all these duplicated ballots. We're going to have, and when you show up on Thursday, we're going to have everyone meet downstairs and get sworn in. But then there are going to be teams that are going to be in the room that we are always in, doing basically the ripping them open, sliding them open, and getting them ready to be accepted. But we're going to have duplication teams up here in the training room doing duplication. So we're going to split the board. We're going to have a quorum here, and the board will make decisions on any questionable ballots that need to be either accepted, rejected, or accepted in part. And we're going to make that happen. But we're going to have board members downstairs and board members up here. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about working on Mother's Day. You're going to be working on the 4th of July. Wait until go ahead and do all this duplication.
The
That's later
4th
on.
of July.
Right.
Thank you.
You know,
Memorial Day.
yeah, so, no, I'm 4th of July. I'm not.
Yeah, he's
I
saying.
meant what I said, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on how quickly we can
Are you
duplicate.
So, but that's
Yeah.
how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. There'll be duplication teams up here doing the duplication.
So can I just hit Margie, so you can put me down your schedule for if you need me on Mother's Day?
Are you
3 to
gonna-
7, I'll
are you
be
gonna
willing to
scan
come in
our-
from 3 to
our
7.
ID that we can come through the basement
I'll
door?
just-
I mean,
I'll
down?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
3 to
Maybe
7,
not.
okay,
Yeah.
so I had you for the whole day, for the whole time, so now it's 3 to 7?
Yeah, 3 to 7.
Okay.
Not the thing, the other
Yeah,
one.
sorry, I had to go to Mass with my
If they have
family,
code
and
here, we can come from downstairs.
We're not starting on
And I
Sundays until 1
I can
o'clock.
do, because that one's scheduled
It
down
starts
to
at 1
9.
o'clock,
I'll do
right?
like 5 to 9.
Everybody's talking on top of each other, I'm
5
sorry.
to 9 on Mother's Day.
Thank you.
it starts at 1 o'clock, correct?
Because my event is a brunch, so
Okay.
I'm free
Yeah, I don't know
to
what I
work
have.
the evening.
Yeah, me too.
Is it safe to say that if I have a period where I thought I would be unavailable and can be available, I should just come? Or do you need to know in advance that I'm available so that someone else can declare themselves unavailable?
Our biggest concern is just meeting the quorum. So if
Right.
there's a question, it's more
And that
helpful
there's
to
one of
know.
us.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
well, good.
And if it turns out that you say you're available, then you can shoot a text to Mary Ann or Gracie, say,
Right.
I can be there. If you
Right.
all want to go ahead and take some time off,
Right.
I can fill in. I mean,
Right.
you can figure all that. We just need 4 people.
Got
Yeah,
it.
no, I can be
And,
here 3
and
to
it's,
7. I
you
just
know,
want to go to
we've
Mass
seen it
and have
before. It's
brunch
like
with
watching paint dry, so.
my mom.
Yeah.
But we nevertheless need to have 4.
And the first thing in the morning, Kevin, remember how that used to just be something for 2 hours on Thursday? This says 10 to 2. There used to be like a 10 to 12, and then things started at 2. Remember that?
Yeah, because we.
That's not happening now.
Well,
Well,
this
I wouldn't
is
go that far.
It's still on there.
This is
Yeah.
this
I
is
thought it
the
was on
issue,
there.
which is we need to get an E40 report from the state to go ahead and look at who could be a potential duplicate voter, a double voter, and so depending upon when that report comes in, we'll go ahead and start immediately thereafter. Now, the state says they are going to have that report to us. They say 9 or 9:30, and we've gotten it much later, and that's what's delayed it in the past. But we have to have 4 people here, so we might as well be ready to start and stay, because if nothing else, we'll start going through the ones that need to be duplicated, to go through those, because those can move so slowly. Then we can start those people up here right away doing it as soon as we get the report.
So Kevin, one of the teams is just going to have members of one party.
What?
If there's 4.
Yeah, that's entirely possible, but we just need 4 people in the building to meet a quorum.
Right, okay.
The duplication, there's no decision with regards to
Okay,
that.
so you can have 2 of the
It's
same
just,
party.
2
Yeah.
people,
They got duplicated.
they're
Not really.
duplicating
Well,
ballots.
I thought we always did
No, we
duplication
always,
in bipartisan fashion.
If we can do that, if we have the numbers to do it, we will. But let's just say even for an e-ballot that there's a question mark, the person looks at it and goes, I don't know how this is going to be, what this person's intent was, and they refer to the board. What we'll do is we'll have 2 people up here, 2 people downstairs. We'll go ahead and say, David, Grace,
Right.
whoever's here,
Yeah.
what do you think? Vote, and then however the board votes on that, then that's how it'll be duplicated. And it's the same thing downstairs. There's a question in terms of whether a ballot should be accepted or rejected. We'll bring in, 2 people will vote downstairs, 2 people will convene.
And we'll bring the ballot.
Can I ask, in those situations where those develop, is there a way to keep them until a time when you can convene the entire board together for whatever it is, 15 minutes or something, and go through them? I think it's just knowing in the past discussions that ensue over those, in terms of people's view of it, I think it's better to have, instead of just getting their 2 votes there and these 2 votes there.
Why don't we go ahead, what we'll do is we'll take them and put them off to the side till we have not one by one.
Right.
Let's wait till we have 10, 15 of them,
Exactly.
and then say we're going to take, whenever everyone else takes a break, then the board can go ahead and go through those 10 or 15 and go.
Yes, I think that would
That
be,
sounds
I think
great.
that would be helpful.
Okay,
That
that
would
would be fine.
That
We'll
would
do it
work.
that way.
Do
That'll
we,
cut down my level of exercise going.
Yes, I was going to say, otherwise, can you
That's
see
okay,
it?
That's fine.
Well, these 2 want that, no, these 2 want this, well, let me go back and talk to them and see.
Okay, that's a good idea. We'll do it that way.
do we have our 40 teams for absentee, or do we
They're
know?
working on it.
They're still working on it. Okay.
What are we up to?
The other day it was like 28.
28?
Me and Margaret work like 5 people.
Yeah.
Fast, too fast.
Of course, as you know, the problem is you can't pull from voter registration to some extent because they have to do provisions.
Right.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand.
People you can't pull from doing.
To a certain extent, this is just very labor-intensive work that doesn't happen quickly.
Yeah.
Well, the e-delivery system, in my humble view, is a step backwards. I don't think I think it's ridiculous that we're duplicating ballots.
Well, I describe it as the 21st century system that we use in order to then use a 17th century system to duplicate them.
I know,
Yeah.
it's nobody would believe it.
Does a
And if
scanner
they saw what we do.
does a scanner exist that can scan that paper in 8.5 by 11 so we wouldn't have to duplicate them all?
Doesn't pass federal standards.
Can we get it to pass federal standards?
I'm sure if somebody wanted to spend the money and
I was going to say,
get a county.
I feel like I want to go and create this device.
Hello, Hillary?
Yeah. I feel like I want to go and create this device because of all the time it would save for not just us,
Well,
but for
I
everybody.
will say, if you have
Yeah.
a relationship with Senator Mandolino, I would invite him to attend, because he was very critical of the Board of Elections one
The
year.
last time.
Because we were the last ones to get our absentee ballots
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
and it was for this very reason that we sat
We
here.
can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do that.
Hours on end,
We can do that.
duplicating ballots. And so if someone in Annapolis can change this, we have more absentee ballots than any other county in the state, and we have more voters that take advantage of e-delivery of absentee ballots. So,
Okay, but you're talking about a change to make it so that voters have a harder time voting absentee.
yes.
And what I'm thinking is that he's on the Budget and Tax Committee. He's much more likely to come up with money to help us, with,
Yeah, but-
with the equipment that we need.
Yeah,
There
but
is
he
no
was the one
equipment,
that
there is
criticized
no
us.
equipment that has federal certification that will tabulate these ballots that are duplicates. There's nothing out there. There's things in the marketplace, but they don't.
Nothing that can be delivered via the internet.
It's not federally certified.
And keep in mind, 2 years ago, if you lived in Montgomery County, or you lived in the United States, you couldn't get an e-delivery ballot. You had to be overseas, or you had to self-declare that you were disabled in order to be able to get that. And now they've switched back to this thing, which is, that's the policy of the state board, but the state board is not the one who's going to be duplicating someone's ballot who lives in Gaithersburg.
But the alternative is to take that provision away, that's it?
Well, at this juncture, although maybe they could push for something else, is it all, some sort of, this, I don't know where they are in terms of the technology, but it's,
If it were done on legal size paper, would it work for us or not?
No.
Our ballot is different size?
It's the stock, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the programming, it's the
Yeah.
paper stock, it's
Yeah.
the security, it's
Okay.
not federally certified.
Okay.
Believe me, there are several scanning companies that would love to
I'm sure.
take it out.
I'm sure.
But nobody wants to go through the federal security certification.
Got it.
And are there other jurisdictions outside of Maryland that do it this way?
The only other jurisdiction I am aware of is Florida, and they only allow for military and overseas voters.
We're the only state in the country that does this?
I said, I
Okay,
am
that you know of.
only aware.
Okay.
Of that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they've got to do something to restrict the web delivery ballot. Senator Madaleno needs to decide what he wants. Either he wants expanded availability and the count's going to take longer, or he wants a quicker count.
And I think we're much more likely to convince him to give us a break on how long the count takes than to convince him to make it harder for people to vote absentee.
But it's not going to make it that much harder. And I think actually, even apart from the quickness of the results, it's just amazes me that we're going to spend this much time duplicating.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Alex. I'm just telling you that I think that once they have voted to make it easier, it's going to be very hard to get them to vote to make it harder.
well, although if you're in Montgomery County, I mean, for 7 days, you passed 10 early voting sites.
Yeah.
11 in the next election.
8 days.
8 days.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
you do, I mean, and if you're disabled, then you can declare yourself that, you can self-declare that that's the reason why you need a web delivery. But other than that,
Right.
I mean, you've got lots of options and
Right. And we're now taking absentee applications as a PDF attachment, which means that the application can be done much more easily than it used to be.
correct. Correct.
So,
Okay.
all right.
All ready?
Back to the streets.
Is anyone heading towards Chevy Chase?
I am going.
Would you mind, Alex has.
I have, well, see, my morning and afternoon got a little mixed up.
Should we close
Yeah,
the
let's,
meeting?
yeah, a motion to
I
adjourn.
move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
We're adjourned.